Dankeschön. Thank you.
Well, that was impeccable, Pat, to think that, you know, you've got 70,000 people in this three-tiered Allianz Arena, and then just the nice little ripple of applause towards the end in memory of those victims.
Beautifully respectful. Considering there's a lot of people walking about with a lot of beers in their hand here, as it's allowed over here. So, very respectful and very impressive.
Wrexham are leading Leyton Orient by a goal to nil in League One. We are available on the iPlayer, the BBC Sport website. I think the red button as well, with the iPlayer for the 5 Live final score. You can see the video printer as the goals go in. It's a night in not only in Europe but also League One, League Two. That one game in the Championship at Deepdale. In fact, let's get news of that Wrexham goal. Shojo Saka.
Yeah, Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 0 in the 15th minute. Ollie Rathbone, who scored on Saturday, has got another one. Corner swung in by James McLean, completely missed by the Leyton Orient keeper Josh Keeley. Rathbone there a yard out to head home. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 0.
So we're underway here in Munich. Bayern in their light beige are playing from right to left, as every Bayern supporter is up now, clapping and rising to their feet. Understandably, it was a little sombre, a little ahead of the kick-off in terms of the atmosphere. Now they're generating the noise, and you can't hear the Celtic supporters as Bayern pick up the ball. So Celtic in this first half playing from left to right as we look. And this is Guerrero on this near side. Gnabry is ahead of him. Gnabry waits and then strokes it back towards Kim. But Maeda will go and press Kim, and he has to go all the way back to Manuel Neuer.
This might surprise Celtic fans a little bit, but it seems it's not Maeda that's furthest forward there. Hatati's trying to push forward almost into a centre forward position. He's very good at closing down as well. So keep a real close eye on this, what Brendan Rodgers is going to do with Maeda and Hatati, the two Japanese up front.
Ball chipped forward by Guerrero. Carter Vickers then lifts the ball high. It'll drop. Kim there gets over the head of Maeda to head it away. Carter Vickers though back towards Trusty, and then Trusty just has a little glance over his shoulder, sees that Harry Kane's running towards him, back towards Schmeichel, and Schmeichel chips it out to this near side. Gnabry with the interception, gets there before Johnston, but Carter Vickers comes across. Atalanta 0, Bruges 1 is a latest score in Bergamo, and that means that Bruges, who could be potentially Aston Villa's opponents, now lead 3-1 on aggregate with that 1-0 scoreline in Italy. Benfica Monaco is the other game. Liverpool or Barcelona could be facing the winners of that one. And earlier Milan knocked out as they had Theo Hernandez sent off. Feyenoord drew 1-1 and the Dutch side go through 2-1 on aggregate, and they could face either Inter or Arsenal in the last 16. Tomorrow night, of course, we'll be live in Madrid. In fact, we'll be live in Madrid at half-time tonight to get a flavour of that game and hear what Pep Guardiola has said as Elise attacks and plays the ball inside. Stanisic with the cross into the penalty area. Johnston just gets there before Musiala, but Bayern Munich's first real attack 3 minutes into the game. They're still coming forward now. Gnabry to Musiala, tries to turn, crowded out by those green shirts, and then they almost gave the ball back to Musiala, and Schmeichel gets the ball away.
Right, we're going to have to concentrate if you're a Celtic player here and defender. But look in front of us where we're sitting here. How high is that Celtic line in comparison, their defensive line, in comparison to what it was in the home game? Celtic are trying to be as positive as possible, but that's a brave thing to do, and maybe
over the top they find Elise taking advantage of that high line. Elise tries to cut the ball back, he waits, tries to clip it towards the far post, and Gnabry with a header, and it is smuggled wide. There were two Celtic players, Engels and Johnston, who stayed down, who almost did enough to put off Gnabry.
Yeah, he's got maybe a lot of injury here. I was wondering if the referee was going to look at a possible penalty kick as well. But a couple of things, very clearly Celtic don't want to sit back. They want to sit right back the way they did at Celtic Park and allow all that pressure to come. The problem is, if you leave any gaps behind, you look at all the defenders there, all the attackers there for Bayern. They have got incredible pace. They will see the spaces there behind. And also the other thing we mentioned earlier on in the previous game, Kasper Schmeichel on the ball, playing out for the back, looks a bit nervy. He does. That's worrying for Celtic.
Hatate is forward. That was picked up by Pat, but he's easily dispossessed by Stanisic running back. Upamecano, the multi-red and white flags that are flying in that south curve away towards our right-hand side. That's where the boisterous Bayern support is. Beat of the drum as well, helping set the tempo as Upamecano on the edge of his penalty area back towards Manuel Neuer. 0-0 in the early stages. We're in the 5th minute here on BBC Radio 5 Live and also live on BBC Sounds as Upamecano gives it to Elise. Scored that wonderful first goal in the stroke of half-time in Glasgow last week. Kim now comes forward, the South Korean, out towards Guerrero. Johnston actually goes to press him, right back to the full-back, and Bayern now with Goretzka pick it up, and Goretzka again looks for the ball over the top, and Schlupp is going to have to get tight towards Elise. Elise now runs at Schlupp, he clips over the cross, and Harry Kane lets it go over his head, and it goes out of play then for a goal kick. The alarm bell's starting to ring yet for you?
Well, look, if you look at the tactics, page 1, chapter 1, sentence 1 even, see if you play a high line, you have to close down the man on the ball. You don't give him space to get his head up and make a pass and be able to take his time on it. And that's the problem Celtic have got. They've been very brave, very brave indeed. But you need to close down as well.
Engels forward, looks for Maeda. Upamecano holds him off. Maeda, and Upamecano did very, very well. Sees it back towards Neuer. The keeper then chips the ball to Upamecano on this near side, because that's the sort of run that Celtic are looking for.
And it worried Upamecano a little bit there, didn't it? It gave him a real question that, but Upamecano has got real good pace. He won that race there, but he will not get it easy. Maeda will keep on asking him that question, and he'll ask the same question of Kim on the other side as well.
The Bayern players are all wearing black armbands as well as a show of respect after that attack in Munich last week. Here is Kimmich. He started as a right back, but he was all over the park last week, was Joshua Kimmich, but he's predominantly just sitting there in the centre of midfield alongside Goretzka, who drops in between the two central defenders, allows the fullbacks to push on, and also then Goretzka towards Elise, caught in possession, and all of a sudden it's McGregor coming forward. This is promising for Celtic. McGregor! Left-footed, couldn't keep it down. What a chance that was, as he made his way towards the penalty area, left-footed drive, off-target, goal kick, 0-0.
All his own work as well, Callum McGregor. Wins the ball off Elise, and he didn't expect him to go that far forward, but he kept on going, got himself in a brilliant position. He could have maybe crossed it there. There was a player coming around at the back post there, trying to see who it was. I think it might have been Kuhn, but he had to go, tried to get the top near-hand corner, just blasted over the bar. But great play there by McGregor.
Well, for those who thought that Celtic were too passive for the first two-thirds of last week's game, they're not tonight, are they?
No, they're much more open. They're playing like Celtic. You know, not playing like a team that has to sit in and can't get passing the ball. And they are being as brave so far as Brendan Rodgers wanted them to be.
Musiala lays it off to Kimmich, who can come forward over the halfway line in the centre circle. Just passes the ball short. Stanisic is forward. Elise makes the run ahead of him. Elise with a cross. Gnabry will try and get there, loses it, falls towards Hatate, able to turn, looks now towards Maeda, and he'll get the goal side of Upamecano, but then Upamecano gets back, goal side, slows him down. Celtic keep the ball. Hatate. This, though, has been quite encouraging for Celtic from an attacking point of view.
Good outball, Maeda, isn't he? His runs are intelligent, and he never stopped. They're not only intelligent, they are constant. So you have to keep an eye on him, and this is giving Celtic to get a little bit of time with the ball. And remember the first 15 minutes last week, they never get a sniff of the ball, Celtic. Never get 2 or 3 passes together. It's nothing like that so far. They're holding the ball comfortably and well in the midfield and indeed the final third so far.
Sub-zero temperatures here in Munich. The weather app says, although it says -5, it says it feels more like -9, because there is an icy wind here in Germany as Johnston chips the ball up towards Kuhn, goes over his head, and Guerrero running back will play it towards Manuel Neuer, away towards our right-hand side. He's got time to control the ball, all in his green goalkeeping outfit, and then he plays the ball forward towards Musiala. Johnston was snapping away at his heels, and then Kimmich once again is the one who just drops in between the two central defenders and gives the ball towards Upamecano, the French international, and Elise is the out ball over on that far side, the right, and Elise comes on the inside of Jota. He's midway through the Celtic half. He then cuts the ball back out towards Stanisic, who looks for Harry Kane. He's onside, flag stays down. Harry Kane with a cross comes shot, fisted up in the air by Schmeichel. Johnston inside the penalty area, heads it back out towards Harry Kane, and Bayern still have it 0-0 here on 5 Live, 9 minutes played. Kimmich towards Kim. Every outfield player is in the Celtic half. To the constant noise in the Allianz Arena, with the red glow of that facade of this very impressive stadium that was built 20 years ago, as Kimmich passes the ball out towards Stanisic. And Elise was alongside him. They'll keep the ball once again. And then Kimmich with Hatate pressing, forces him back. Upamecano then will come out with the defence, but Maeda is there, leaves it towards Kim, and Kim actually goes back towards Neuer.
No, it's comfortable at the back of the ball, are they? And that's Maeda, and I have to say Hatate as well, who's pushed really far up. It almost looks like a 4-4-2 for Celtic.
Stanisic makes the run on the right-hand side. Jota has gone back with him. Haven't really seen much of Jota at the moment. Is an attacking force for Celtic. Here is Elise, strokes it back. Kimmich on that far side, plays the ball forward. Musiala makes the run. A little flick inside the penalty area, look towards Harry Kane. McGregor was there, and then Schlupp back towards Trusty. Schmeichel collects it inside his 6-yard area, passes the ball to this near side, and Johnston will play the ball forward. Engels, though, is quickly being closed down by Goretzka. But Celtic, I've got to say, keeping the ball much better than they did at times in the first half last week.
Yes, that bravery that Brendan was talking about, that they tried to keep it, but they were closed down far too quickly, and I think they were seeing a lot of numbers. You know, he turned up looking for a face, he's got a number, a back of a shirt. It's not like that now. Every player is comfortable and wants to get on the ball, and that's the way it should be.
Johnston over the halfway line for Kuhn. Kuhn comes in off the right touchline, over 30 yards out from goal. His ball out towards Jota, intercepted on the chest by Stanisic, and he runs forward and nobody's going with him. Schlupp and Jota both slow to get back. Stanisic now looks for a diagonal forward ball. Harry Kane was the target. Johnston, though, was back. Good defending by Alistair Johnston, and then puts the ball out of play for a throw.
The first thing you underline is it's a good game. It's a really good game. It's end to end. Celtic are trying to attack as much as they can. Kane was in a really decent position there, but Johnston's defensive position was perfect. But they're stressed a lot, Celtic, but they know they will be, because they're taking a chance in being so positive.
Bayern Munich, who've won their last 7 home games, they've scored at least 3 goals in each of those matches as well. They do have this formidable home record. When I watched the game recently against Werder Bremen, they suffocated Werder Bremen. But Celtic have at least got an outball, and that will just give Bayern Munich maybe something to think about after that slender lead that the German team have from last week's first leg. Kimmich passes the ball forward towards Elise. Elise over the halfway line. Former Crystal Palace player back towards Kimmich. Goretzka has made the run through from midfield, but Kimmich keeps the ball. Upamecano, Musiala, they too exchange passes as Upamecano is able to carry it forward and then out towards Gnabry, and then Gnabry will just touch it back towards Kim, and once again every outfield player is in the Celtic half, and it's Bayern Munich dictating at this stage. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
They're dictating, but they're not getting through there. Interesting move they keep on trying to do, and whether it's Goretzka or Guerrero, they're trying to these very deep runs, you know, because you know that Celtic have got a kind of fairly high line, and the strikers are coming back a bit, and the players from midfield such as Kimmich are trying to make deep runs. Not quite got it yet, but you can see that's a tactic that's very hard to stop, because you need to run with them from the midfield, and you can see that Celtic will give one chance away at least in this first half, I'm sure, from that tactic.
Elise back to Kimmich. Kimmich, then Manuel Neuer actually comes out of his penalty area to get a little touch as well. He'll be wanting to keep warm on this cold night as Guerrero passes the ball to Kim, but Kuhn will run towards Kim. Maeda's there, and Celtic press downfield, and then the ball goes over the head of Johnston. Might have just caught Guerrero in the process, but he's hobbling and he's back on his feet, and Celtic now with Carter Vickers. But 13 minutes in, BBC Radio 5 Live, and it is 0-0.
I wouldn't have guessed the game would have gone like this. I thought Celtic would have been under a lot more pressure, and so far it hasn't quite happened yet, but you know it can change, and you're always aware of it, and the first goal, whoever it's for, will make such an enormous difference to this tie.
Here is Guerrero waiting to take the throw. Kim in field. Kimmich able to turn, and then just passes the ball in field to Upamecano. Because of Hatate, though, he has to turn, and then back towards Kim. Maeda will run towards him. He cuts out the actual option to go back towards Upamecano as Musiala then comes forward and accelerates and passes the ball towards Elise. Elise on the overlap, looks for Stanisic, first time cross, Trusty heads it away. Schlupp tries to get there before Elise, who slides and keeps the ball in play and does well on the right hand side. Kimmich then gives it back towards Elise. Leyton Orient have equalised at Wrexham. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1 is the latest score in League One. 5 Live final score is available on the website, the iPlayer and the BBC Red button if you so wish. As this is Elise dropping back inside his own half, and then Upamecano towards Neuer, who then hits the ball long, and there is nobody there to chase it. So back to Shojo Saka at Wrexham.
Yeah, 31 minutes played, Ian. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. It's the Orient veteran captain Darren Pratley with a cross from the byline on the right. He found Charlie Kelman in the box. He received it, spun, right-footed shot, hit the post and in. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1.
Here is Engels for Celtic. It remains 0-0 here in Munich. We've got the boxing, by the way, this weekend. 5 Live boxing podcasts will be available in the build-up to the weekend with Steve Bunce, but our coverage starts at 7:30 live from Saudi Arabia, including the Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker fight, as Jota coming forward here, and Jota manages to wriggle free, crosses the ball. This is Kuhn, all cleared off the line. Guerrero, right place, right time, goal line clearance. Celtic so close. McGregor towards Engels. Just didn't seem to hit it with enough power.
No, he couldn't get enough power behind it, but it was a brilliant move. We'll describe in a moment.
It could be in again. Engels goes across towards the far post. Sliding in, Maeda couldn't get the touch. Oh, the last 60 seconds have offered real hope for Celtic. They couldn't take either chance. But they're urged on now by their Celtic supporters, high up in the way towards our left-hand side. Here is Johnston to Kuhn. And Tate looks for the ball in, and it'll go straight through towards Neuer.
Yeah, but brilliant play. You can hear that noise, you can hear the Celtic fans are way up to our left. What a piece of play that. Tate had a little bit of a chance at the back post there. The ball was played over, and flying in was Maeda. Couldn't get to it, really close to it. But just before that, the break to Kuhn when he couldn't get enough power on it. But the ball had been played out to Jota. 1-1 with his full-back. He's had one chance now against his full-back, and he's destroyed him. So Celtic will want to get that ball out to that left-hand side to Jota, because he knows now if he gets 1-on-1 with, and I would say it's either player out there, be it Stanisic or indeed Kim, or maybe even Upamecano, Jota can do them.
Nicholas Kuhn, who once was actually on Bayern's books, but he never played. He played for their reserve side only. That was a moment for Celtic that really would have made life, and this time very, very interesting.
Well, two moments, it's 2 moments, and here's another one.
Here is Maeda. Maeda hits it early! Oh, it's over the top. Breakdown of the Bayern defence, ball played towards Maeda. He hit it first time right-footed, and he's floated the ball over the top. It was Upamecano who slipped his crossfield ball. Kuhn hit it early towards Maeda. He went for the first time finish. It was off target.
Right, but it's the right thing to try. It was a way off target, but it was the right thing to try. Don't let the keeper get back in there. Let's be fair about this. We're 17 minutes in. The best three chances in this game so far are for Celtic Football Club. Definitely the best 3 chances, and they've all happened in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Let's see the reaction now. Celtic, let's keep it up. Or will that waken up Bayern Munich? Because they've not closed high, have they?
No. Celtic, who have never won in Germany in 15 attempts. They've had 3 draws. Borussia Mönchengladbach, Hamburg and Werder Bremen. They've lost the other 12. It would be a monumental effort to get a result here in Munich. But if ever there was a period of a game to offer encouragement, it's that period of positivity that we've just witnessed.
And they're holding the ball much better now. They've got it out to Jota. He's got another chance to run. He should have run there, but he's given it inside, maybe the right thing to do.
And Schlupp was the one tries to get on the end of it. And now do they get who got the last touch? It's going to be a Celtic throw.
It's got to be. I don't know why anyone's considering it, but they seem to be arguing about it. But first time Schlupp's worked well with Jota there. They seem to be developing a decent understanding.
Schlupp coming in, one of the two changes from last week's first leg for Taylor, on loan from Crystal Palace. From the throw they go back to the centre circle to Celtic. They're all in green, they're playing from left to right as we look. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Engels turns away from Goretzka. Ball in field towards McGregor, the captain, and then passes the ball to Trusty. We've been playing for 19 minutes, as here is Jota. Jota looks to try and turn from Stanisic, and he goes away from him again. Stanisic tries to keep up with him. Jota, though, carries the ball a long way down towards the corner flag over on that far side. Hatate flicks the ball back with his head towards Schlupp, tries to head it forward on the left corner of the area, but they keep the ball, Celtic. This really is a good period of play for the Scottish champions. McGregor plays it to the feet of Hatate, back towards McGregor, and now Carter Vickers will spread it out towards this near side, and this is an opportunity for Kuhn to run at Guerrero. Johnston comes on the overlap, not utilised on the right hand side, back towards McGregor. Hatate just outside the D, can he shoot? Hatate loses the ball, Gnabry gets it up towards Harry Kane. Break could be on here for Bayern. It's Elise, held up by Trusty over on that far side, and then Kuhn is the one who actually runs from the right hand side to the left to help out his teammate.
It was interesting because it was 1-on-1 with Elise there, but he's against Trusty, and do you know what? I wasn't over worried there for Celtic. Trusty's pace is phenomenal, so the one player that he had a 1-on-1 with, I don't think that's the one Elise wanted to face.
Here is Goretzka. Celtic have had the better chances, but it remains 0-0. We've been playing for just over 20 minutes, but the quality in this Bayern side, Celtic cannot afford to switch off. We saw what Bayern can do with their quality with that Elise goal last week, as here is Kim Upamecano. Out it goes to Stanisic, the Croatian international on the right, tries to play it low, blocked by Schlupp, gets supported by McGregor, who doesn't have happy memories of the Allianz Arena. He, of course, along with Anthony Ralston, started for Scotland in that opening game at the Euros last summer, where Scotland were beaten by 5-1 by Germany. He'll hope for better memories of Munich tonight.
Do you really have to bring it up? It's still painful for some of us. I was talking to a few people in Fadi beforehand, and a lot of the Germans going up, talking about the Scots and remember them so pleasantly from that time. In Germany, they made a great impression.
Pat Nevin with us here in Munich on BBC Radio 5 Live. As Kimmich right to the centre circle, forward ball, Musiala on the half turn, forward towards Harry Kane. Harry Kane shoots, took a deflection, good save by Schmeichel, and then headed behind by Johnston. That was a very good save by Schmeichel. Harry Kane, who scored 19 goals against Schmeichel for club and country, 5 more than any other goalkeeper, but Schmeichel on this occasion was equal to it.
I thought he was offside personally. It was very tight, but it would have been checked, but Schmeichel had to be equal to it. Did he get a little bit of a deflection? I think it probably did off Trusty there. Makes an even better save, but just a little bit of edginess there for Bayern Munich. The last thing they want is to go behind, and they almost did. But what real bravery from the Celtic players. Every player wants a ball, and they're playing with real confidence in that midfield area.
That's the first save, though, that Kasper Schmeichel has made here tonight. Now the referee, the French referee, is calling 2 players towards him. Kim is one of them, Trusty might be the other. So whether there's been a little bit of pushing and shoving as they wait to take the corner kick. Crawley 0, Wigan 1 is the latest score in League One. And Benfica are leading Monaco by 1-0 in the Champions League. They could be potential opponents for Liverpool or Barcelona. In fact, they will be. It could be for the draw is on Friday the 21st of February. Benfica now lead 2-0 on aggregate, as the referee then just comes across to make sure that the ball is in the right place, as it overhangs on the outside of the quadrant on this near side. So 0-0 on the night. Bayern, though, still lead 2-1. Corner kick in towards the near post, headed away by Maeda. Comes out towards Gnabry. Elise, left-footed, curling ball. Upamecano is there, and so is Guerrero. And it was Guerrero's ball in that has been touched behind for a corner kick to Bayern Munich.
I think Upamecano was miles offside there, wasn't he, when the ball was played in to that back post. And actually, I think Guerrero was offside as well. But the assistant referee over there, I would say for the second time in a row, has not given an offside when he should have done. And of course it's led to corner kicks on both occasions for Bayern Munich.
Millwall have just taken the lead at Deepdale in the Championship. It's the only game in the Championship. Preston North End 0, Millwall 1. This is 5 Live. Bayern Munich have a corner on that far side, the right, that Kimmich is going to take. This will be an outswinger. Upamecano makes the run, but instead they play it short, Elise, and then it's hammered in from that far side by Gnabry. And he really did hoist that high, and it dropped well away from the goal, and it will be a goal kick, and it remains goalless.
What they were trying to do there, Bayern Munich, was to drag the Celtic players to the near post and then play it to the back post. Problem was they lobbed it well past the back post and almost into the stand.
Bayern get a throw. Kuhn thought it might have been a Celtic one on this near side, the right. Celtic, who are winless in 12 away games in the Champions League proper since they won away against Anderlecht 3-0 in 2017. They've drawn 3, they've lost 9, and in those games, those 12 winless matches, only once have they scored more than 1 goal in a game, and that was when they recently lost 4-2 to Aston Villa. Indeed, they've only scored 7 and conceded 40. So they really do have to buck the trend here tonight. But those chances, they're still very much in this tie, 0-0. Elise on the halfway line. Bayern Munich in their all light beige, hit the ball long. Carter Vickers comes across, heads it away. Jota running back will prevent it from reaching Stanisic, the right back, and he plays the ball forward, but only gives it towards Elise, almost midway through the Celtic half. As now this is Kimmich. Harry Kane waits just outside the penalty area. Upamecano in the centre circle. Kim's forward ball. Goretzka stabs it back towards Upamecano. 26 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, just looking at those chances that Celtic have got, they've been all totally different. The 3 very, very decent chances they got, and that must give you a lift if you are Celtic, knowing that there are different angles you can attack this Bayern team from. But there is that thought that if Celtic do lose a goal and go 3-1 down, all that hope and all that positivity could be punctured. But 25 minutes in, 0-0, Brendan Rodgers will take that every day of the week so far.
I'm sure he will. Bruges are now 2-0 up away to Atalanta, which means that they're leading 4-1 on aggregate. They will play either Lille or Aston Villa. Crawley Town have equalised in League One. Crawley 1, Wigan Athletic 1. Bayern Munich play the ball forward to Stanisic, the right back. Trusty tries to get there first, gets across, and then left-footed clears the ball downfield. Kimmich keeps it in play. Elise passes the ball inside, 30 yards out from goal. Goretzka, the width is on this near side being provided by Guerrero, the left back, almost level with the penalty area. Back it goes towards Goretzka. Kimmich, old school, short sleeves, no gloves. Goretzka's wearing gloves, Musiala is wearing gloves. Upamecano as well. As Guerrero gets forward on this left-hand side, the cut back, turned behind by Johnston. Corner kick for Bayern Munich, 0-0.
Well, that's the sort of ball that really Celtic don't want to give away. The right back and the right winger don't have an understanding there for Celtic. So Kuhn allows his player to go. It allows Bayern to get to the byline. That is the last thing you want against any team, but particularly a team that's got Harry Kane in it. Fortunately, they've done a little bit of decent defending there, so well done, Johnson, getting them out of trouble again.
Corner kick to Bayern Munich, still 0-0 here in Germany, live on 5 Live. Kimmich curls this one in. Schmeichel gets a fist on it and gets good distance too. Gnabry will get there before Kuhn. Kuhn though comes back at him with an interception, just prods it towards Schlupp, gets it out from underneath his feet. Johnston playing on that left corner of the penalty area towards Schmeichel, who gives it back towards the Canadian international for Celtic, and right-footed just lifts the ball into the path of Hatate.
Such comfort the way he played out there. Talking about Schmeichel, his passing hasn't been good in the last game, but it was there.
Goretzka scoops the ball up towards Harry Kane. A stumbling Trusty does enough to get it away from the England captain, and McGregor drops back inside his own penalty area, up towards Maeda, holds it up, plays it towards Schlupp, short diagonal ball, Hatate then back towards McGregor. Celtic under pressure, but confident in their passing, and composed as well. They go back in towards the penalty area, they work it across the back, and then they find Johnston, and Celtic have navigated that situation very well, and then Johnston hits it up long towards Maeda, downward header by Upamecano. Kuhn puts pressure on Kim. The South Korean central defender passes the ball forward towards Goretzka, who runs away from Engels. And now Musiala has an opportunity to drive at Johnston, and he does exactly that as he cuts inside now. Looks for a threaded ball towards Guerrero, but Johnston is there and he plays it short and forward towards Engels. Pat.
Brilliant. Engels, both him and Kuhn had to really do some work, really hard work. Did the hard yards, got themselves back. Nowhere for Bayern to go. Celtic's concentration and their work rate has been superb so far.
Passing the ball well, retaining the ball so much better than last week. Really is evident if you'd have watched that first leg from Parkhead, where only when Jota came on, and probably you could say that Bayern dropped off as the game wore on.
And also Maeda went up front, and that made a difference. It lengthened the game. There was a point, someone they could aim for. But every single player on the Celtic team so far looks more comfortable and confident on the ball than the team that played at Celtic Park for that first hour. It's a real belief about that group just now. So any Celtic fan listening in, this isn't just like being positive because, you know, being Scottish, etc. towards Celtic. Celtic have matched Bayern so far.
Yes, they have. And remember, just the one goal would do. It would, albeit, force extra time. But that is all they need. Just one goal, one moment of magic is what Celtic are looking for. Stevenage 0, Burton Albion 1 is the latest score in League One. Here is Musiala. But at the same time, they've got to be so careful at the other end. As Gnabry now comes forward and goes on the inside of Carter Vickers, and Gnabry enters the penalty area. Gnabry's shot blocked, and there was Schlupp to get the ball away. But it's then bounces off the chest of Kim, and Bayern Munich once again are in possession once more. Half an hour played, but it remains 0-0.
That was amazing for Gnabry, wasn't it? He just dropped his shoulder. Both shoulders, in fact, he dropped him so much I thought he might dislocate him. Just past 3 different players. The shot was blocked in the end, and you're going to have to do that if you're Celtic tonight. I have to say, the two centre-backs so far, Carter Vickers and Trusty, they have been magnificent against Harry Kane. They've won just about every single ball. Problem is with Harry Kane, he only needs to win one, and you know what's going to happen.
He's in, again, prolific form as ever. Guerrero touches it to Musiala, shoots low, didn't really have the power to trouble Schmeichel. It did bounce away off his hands, but he had that situation perfectly under control, did the Dane.
Yes, he did. And again, Celtic playing out from the back, giving it to him not very well. McGregor gives it away.
Here is Kim. Gnabry coming in off the left touch line, right-footed ball. Elise has made that run, but it's gathered in by Kasper Schmeichel. Of course, the Schmeichel family do have history when it comes to Bayern Munich. He was asked about that yesterday in the press conference. He'd have probably been about 13 when Manchester United won the Champions League against Bayern in the new camp in '99 as Elise comes forward. But anything is possible. That was the mantra that both Schmeichel and Brendan Rodgers were singing from the same script and the song sheet yesterday in the press conference, and Schmeichel will testify to that when you think the success that he's had with Leicester, winning the title in the Premier League, the FA Cup as well.
Exactly. It's magical moments can happen in football. I was there that day in the Nou Camp. I was at that game, and with 5 minutes to go you thought there was no chance at all. But football's strange.
It is strange. That's why we love it so much. And Celtic, as Pat says, are competing here with Bayern, and it remains 0-0 with 13 minutes to go to half-time. Guerrero's ball cut out by Carter Vickers. Johnston to Kuhn, triangular passing pattern, but then they lose the ball again, and it goes out of play for a Bayern throw that Guerrero will take quickly. Half-time at Wrexham, Shojo Saka.
Yeah, Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. Ollie Rathbone with his second goal in as many games, opening the scoring for Wrexham, nodding in from close range. Charlie Kelman with the equaliser for Leyton Orient, finishing off a nice move down the right. 2-2 for him also. Half-time, Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1.
Former Liverpool player Minamino has equalised for Monaco in the Estadio de Luge. Benfica 1, Monaco 1. It means that Benfica are leading 2-1 on aggregate, and the winners will take on either Liverpool or Barcelona. 0-0 here in the Champions League. Tomorrow night will be live in the Bernabeu. We'll be hearing from John Murray at half-time. We've got 12 minutes to go. You can hear the Celtic supporters in the background as McGregor's forward ball hits Hatate. but goes back to McGregor. Then Engels looks for that ball towards Maeda, takes it high on the chest and runs towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Kim goes with him to Jota, scoops the ball towards Hatate. Upamecano though is there. Nice controlled touch, cushioned touch off the right boot, and then passes the ball too far ahead of Elise.
Once again, you see Celtic have been under pressure there a little bit for 5, maybe 10 minutes, but when they break out harms, they've got Maeda. Just they put it into a corner, he'll chase it, hold the ball up. Just a shame Jota's pass wasn't up to his usual standard there.
Celtic though are showing much more ambition than they did a week ago in Glasgow. Here is Jota. Just seen Johnston go on a marauding run. Wasn't utilised at all by Kuhn, but they're keeping the ball. Here is Carter Vickers. Johnston now back in at his right back position inside the Celtic half, out towards Kuhn. Johnston though again goes ahead. He takes Gnabry with him, and then Kuhn towards Carter Vickers. Hatate drops deep back towards Schmeichel.
It's good to ask that question though. Gnabry doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to chase back against his full back. You play for Bayern Munich 90% of the time, maybe more than that. If you're a winger, you don't chase back. You don't have to. You've got the ball all the time. Now they still have the lion's share of the possession tonight, Bayern Munich, but not enough to be comfortable. And just when Johnson goes there, he asked Gnabry that question. Gnabry's had a brilliant run a few minutes ago, thinking I've got him now. And Johnson says, no you haven't. I'm going to run you the other way. Very impressed by that.
Here is McGregor. Jota. It goes out of play. Bayern want to take the quick throw. Wycombe Wanderers 0, Bristol Rovers 0 is a half-time score in League One. It is Wrexham and Wycombe who are vying for that second automatic promotion slot behind the leaders of League One, Birmingham City. As Elise gives it away. Schlupp now can come forward. Was he fouled? The referee says yes. Celtic get a free kick outside the centre circle.
He's been pretty impressive, Schlupp, hasn't he? He's not long been at Celtic Park, and he's gone into that left back position, and he's understandably and correctly fearless. He doesn't care who he's playing with. He's been playing at the top level in England for a long time, and he's walked into this, and I think he is loving it out there.
He, like Schmeichel, a Premier League winner with Leicester back in 2016. 16 substitute appearances for Crystal Palace this season. But they were the two areas of debate regarding the team selection for Brendan Rodgers. Who would play at left back? What would he do with Ida? Would Maeda go to the left? Would he start Jota for Maeda to go central? And they were the answers that were provided when we got the teams, with Schlupp coming in for Taylor.
Both seem to be very good calls so far. And remember, Elise, Schlupp knows him very, very well. And that always helps as a defender.
Kuhn overruns the ball, gives it straight towards Goretzka, but Kimmich comes under pressure from Hatate. Celtic go hunting for the ball. You've got Carter Vickers midway through the Bayern half, pressing there. That was something we didn't see at all.
Yeah, they weren't able to do it. They weren't able to do it at Celtic Park, but this time, certainly not for the first hour, as we say. But on this occasion, you just look at the Celtic players. There's such a belief about them. I don't know A, what they've been eating, but B, what has Brendan Rodgers said to them? They look so much different, and it's just being fearless. And in a way, there was no pressure on Celtic to some degree. There is a pressure of, yeah, if you lose a goal, then it's probably finished. But the pressure of, right, no one's expecting you to go through. Go and show what you can do. I'll tell you what, they really have. They've so far, 36 minutes in, really shown that they can stand there, blow for blow with Bayern Munich so far.
Stanisic comes forward, accelerates, passes the ball to Elise. Elise's got room to run into on the right-hand side, pulls it back. Stanisic is there. Stanisic comes towards Kimmich, and Kimmich places the ball wide. Left-footed from just inside the petrol area. Corner kick, 0-0.
I would say that's the best opportunity so far. Maybe a goal kick there. I don't think they've given that corner. There might have been a little touch through there, but at least getting into that sort of area. Comes back to Kimmich, and he really ought to get that on target there. He's only 16 yards out or so, and he's trying to pass it into the corner. He's passed it just past the post, and I would say arguably best chance for Bayern Munich so far.
The other one was an effort from Harry Kane that Schmeichel made the save, but Elise again showing his threat on that right-hand side as Kim steps out of defence to get the ball. Gnabry picks it up. Stanisic is coming forward on that right back as well. Stanisic now plays the ball in towards Elise. He leaves it for Musiala. Inside right channel of the penalty area. Musiala with a cross, and Carter Vickers, he didn't know where Harry Kane was lurking. and left-footed, puts the ball behind for a corner kick.
Right, a minor problem slightly arising for Celtic there. Stanisic has come up from the right back position. He's running with Jota. Jota stops, doesn't go with him. Can't really do that. You really can't do that. If you're the winger in that situation, you're allowing an overload, and because of that overload, they got the cross in. And looking at Jota there, he knows he's blown it on that occasion. I just wonder if the fitness isn't quite there to be able to do that sort of deep running back as much as he has to do in this evening.
In the 18 months he was away, he only played 28 games of football, did Jota. As Kimmich waits to take the corner kick, it's an outswinger. Schlupp gets it away, beats up a Meccano in the air. Jota will be beaten in the air by Elise, whose header goes back to Stanisic, who crosses the ball diagonally out towards Kimmich, level the penalty area on the right-hand side. Kimmich up against McGregor, and McGregor gets tight to him, gets the block in. It'll be a Bayern throw.
It's a really good battle then too, isn't it? It's just the two players got so many similarities. They can control games, they can play different positions, but also if you allow them time and space, they will control every part of the game. And they're two players that have been really wonderful to watch over this time.
Here is Kim. Maeda goes towards him, back then towards Neuer. Clips the ball back out to this near side. Kuhn will try and get there first. Guerrero was having to, on the touchline, to quickly head the ball and keep it in play. Musiala in a central area, sweeps it along the ground towards Elise. Forward then to Musiala, and it will go through towards Schmeichel. I really thought, and having watched the Werder Bremen game the other week, I thought that Celtic could get suffocated here tonight, and that hasn't been the case at all.
Well, just watching what happened to him for the first hour of the game at Parkhead, you thought there's every chance, there's every likelihood, and it just feels like an open game. Celtic playing with confidence. Well, the referee's not giving them that one, maybe a little bit harsh on them. But looking at if you're a Celtic player, I thought you'll be tired chasing the ball, you'll be chasing shadows all night. No, that's not what's happening at all. And as I say, when the chances have come, they've been very, very unlucky. But again, well done, you've set up a very, very positive outlook. It's almost like a 4-4-2 most of the time with two players up front. Sometimes it's Hatate alongside Maeda, sometimes it's Kuhn.
Here is Elise. Bayern Munich are in possession. BBC Radio 5 Live with 4 minutes to go to half-time. Kim, outside the centre circle, gets it back from Musiala. Musiala is able to turn. Guerrero has made the run in field in that inverted role, and Gnabry links up now with Guerrero, and the ball through the middle was on there. If Gnabry could have found Goretzka, but he went straight through to Schmeichel, because all of a sudden that was probably one of the first times that Celtic's defence looked like it had been opened up.
Well, that deep run I was telling you about before, if you play a slightly high line and don't close down, that deep run will open up, and I thought that we'd get a chance from it. That was the chance, but the final ball wasn't good enough from Bayern.
McGregor under pressure, turns up towards Jota. Stanisic tight behind and gets a challenge in. Engels slides across back towards Schlupp. Schlupp will go back. The longer it stays 0-0, there might just be more pressure coming from the Bayern supporters.
100% nervousness. They're only players. Yeah, they're a fabulous team with fabulous players, Bayern Munich, but they're only human, and they know that this is not unexpected. I think they wouldn't have said it out loud, but they'd have expected this to be a bit of a cruise. Yeah, and it hasn't been.
Well, in fact, that's been the narrative in some of the German media. You know that Bayern have done the hard work already, winning 2-1. Been quite dismissive, really, of Celtic, the German media, in the build-up to this game. So Celtic will, I'm sure, use that as an incentive to silence those critics. As Kuhn runs at Guerrero. Johnston on the overlap with his cross. It's easily claimed by Neuer inside the 6-yard area. It remains 0-0.
But we're saying that because that understanding Kuhn has got with Johnston is usually very, very good. It's usually an underlap. This time it was an overlap. Got to the byline. Wasn't quite enough belief in the cross, and if you don't put a cross in with some zip, Manuel Neuer is quite good at catching them.
Well, it was a hell of a throw out as well, overarm. Was from Manuel Neuer out towards that right-hand side. It reminds me that the Champions Cup cricket actually starts tomorrow on Sports Extra. Every match will be live on Sports Extra. Pakistan, New Zealand gets the tournament underway at 8:45 in the morning, and England play Australia on Saturday as well. That's something to look forward to. Saturday, incidentally, so much live sport. I think it's something like 12 hours of uninterrupted sport on BBC Radio 5 Live. Hatate in the penalty area, behind Maeda, and Bayern are able to play the ball out.
The press from Celtic was magnificent there. They had 6 or 7 players up there in the 18-yard line, Bayern's own 18-yard line, and they just looked completely shocked by it. They couldn't get through at that time. However, they have this time.
Elise holds his line, stays onside, drifts a little bit in field, but McGregor is back. Celtic had so many green shirts back behind the ball there. 90 seconds of normal time remaining in his first half. Guerrero waits to measure the cross, doesn't in fact deliver the ball in, instead passes it back towards Gnabry. Upamecano now, and Celtic though have got everybody back behind the ball, and Bayern can't find a way through at the moment. Elise has to go back towards Upamecano. They've got to keep their concentration. Remember, Bayern scored the opening goal on the stroke of half-time last week at Celtic Park, but it's 0-0 here tonight as we edge our way towards the break. Kimmich gives it towards Elise. Elise just starts to edge his way in from that right touch line. They go then back to Upamecano, gives it towards Kimmich, once again seeing a lot of the ball. Elise waits, passes the ball ahead of him. Stanisic looks up, delivers the low cross. Here is Harry Kane, hits the crossbar. Right-footed effort, first-time effort, comes back off the bar, and Celtic get a slice of luck.
And that's so Harry Kane. That's how he touched the ball in a game. Beautiful effort.
They're attacking again. Stanisic with a cross, fires this one in, blocked, and McGregor turns, gives it away though. Edge of the area. Elise, left-footed, curls it off target, goal kick, 0-0.
The only shock is that ball didn't go in the net. It's amazing they didn't do so. Comes to Harry Kane there, and he's just almost directly on the penalty spot. It's slightly behind him, but you know that he can twist and turn and put that in the top corner. First touch, had it been on target, just below the crossbar, Kasper Schmeichel wasn't within a yard of it. So Celtic got off with that one there. And maybe that's a little bit of a sign there, because what happened, as you said, with Celtic before half-time in the first game, they lost that goal to Harry Kane. Well, this time, got a bit luckier.
And there is indeed the half-time whistle. Harry Kane, who has scored 29 goals in 30 appearances this season. But after the half-time whistle, you could just then hear the roar and the cries of encouragement from the Celtic supporters, because they have certainly had quite a lot to get encouraged about. You've had Guerrero with a goal line clearance to keep out an effort from Kuhn. Maeda sliding in, couldn't get on the end of that Engels cross. And then you've had Maeda with another chance, but at the other end, Schmeichel has had a save from Harry Kane, who's just hit the crossbar. But with 45 minutes of this second leg still to play, Celtic are still very much in this Champions League playoff tie. Half-time here in Munich, it's Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 0. Lady Karen.
We will be back with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin for the second half in Munich as soon as that gets underway. Andros Townsend and Statman Dave are with us as well. Andros, this is on for Celtic, isn't it?
It was almost the perfect first half performance away from home. They weren't really desperate to have any real possession. They were 4-4-2 out of possession. They were defending well. They were compact. But when they did get the ball, they kept it very well. They played out from the back. And like the guy said on commentary, they had 4 unbelievable chances on the counter-attack. And you said that this game is on, but the cynic in me, who's played against many a top team away from home, when you have chances on the counter-attack, you need to take at least one. And unfortunately for Celtic tonight, they haven't taken any.
Yeah, that's going to be the concern as Bayern have come back into the game and had that brilliant chance from Harry Kane late on. How's it looked statistically that first half, Dave?
I think it's quite interesting because again we kind of went into this game thinking that Celtic have got a chance just because of how interesting or poor you'd say Bayern Munich were against Leverkusen. It's not been as open like the first half in that game, but you're looking at Stanisic has won the most tackles on the pitch. That's usually statistically going to look at a team that doesn't have possession winning the most, and I think that shows Celtic's approach. Them looking to hit both Jota and Kuhn on both of the flanks, but I tell you what, it's definitely open. There's too many opportunities I think for Celtic in the channels against the Bayern Munich centre half, so I can't wait for the second half.
Yeah, second half should be really entertaining, but do you expect Bayern to be able to kick into another gear here, Andros?
Yes, because I think after Celtic had those 4 chances, Bayern grew into the game. They got composure back, they got possession, they limited those counter-attacking opportunities. I'm sure the manager will give them the hairdryer treatment at half-time as well, and we'll see a different Bayern Munich in the second half. So as good as Celtic were in the first half, unfortunately I fear for them in this second half.
But as things stand, There is still a chance. They are 2-1 down in aggregate from the first leg, and it is goalless at half-time at the Allianz Arena between Bayern Munich and Celtic. Just to bring you up to date with what's happening elsewhere in the Champions League, there was an early kick-off between AC Milan and Feyenoord. That one finished 1-1. Feyenoord go through to the next round where potentially they could face Arsenal because they won the first leg by a goal to nil. So they go through 2-1 on aggregate. Atalanta, Dave will be disappointed, are 3-0 down to Bruges on the night. They are 5-1 down on aggregate in that game. And it's currently Benfica 1, Monaco 1. Benfica are 2-1 up on aggregate in that game. Busy night in the EFL this evening as well. In the Championship, it's Preston 0, Millwall 1. And there's a big game in League One as well. Wrexham taking on Leyton Orient. Shojo Saka is there.
Yeah, it's just 1 minute into the second half, Kelly. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. Ollie Rathbone with the opener. Charlie Kelman with the equaliser for Leyton Orient. Sam Smith also had a really good chance for Wrexham just before the break. He shot from about 10 yards out straight at the keeper. Got to credit Leyton Orient for sticking to their plan of getting the ball down and playing really good football. It's Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 1. There comes a header. Oh, there's a really good chance there for Leyton Orient, but it's still 1-1.
Elsewhere in League One, it's Crawley 1, Wigan 1, Mansfield Town 0, Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 0, Huddersfield 0, Stevenage 0, Burton Albion 1, and at half-time it's Wycombe 0, Bristol Rovers 0. In League 2, Fleetwood 0, Wimbledon 0, Morecambe 0, Doncaster Rovers 1, and Notts County 1, Colchester United 1 in that game. We'll be back at the Allianz Arena for the second half of Bayern Munich against Celtic very shortly in their Champions League playoff second leg of that game. Plus, we'll be previewing a big game tomorrow night for Manchester City. They're at Real Madrid. We'll look ahead to that after the BBC News with Tim Daly.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yes, good evening. The Russian foreign minister has said his country won't accept peacekeeping forces from NATO countries in Ukraine under any peace deal. Sergei Lavrov was speaking following high-level talks with the US in Saudi Arabia. The BBC's been told a man suspected of shooting his wife dead outside a pub in Kent phoned a close friend afterwards to tell him what had happened. Following the attack in Knockholt, it's believed Edvard Stockings, also known as Edvard Smith, drove to a bridge over the River Thames. The leading consultancy firm Cornwall Insight has predicted domestic gas and electricity prices will rise by 5% in April. The increase would add £85 a year to the average bill. And the Vatican says Pope Francis has pneumonia in both lungs. The 88-year-old is continuing to receive treatment at a hospital in Rome. And that is the news on 5 Live.
Radio 2's Piano Room Month.
We spend all of February at the iconic Maida Vale Studios in the company of the BBC Concert Orchestra and some of the biggest artists in the world.
The legends have passed through these corridors.
Oh my gosh, it's a very intimate experience.
Don't miss spine-tingling sessions from the likes of Coldplay. With loads more stunning performances still to come.
Radio 2's Piano Room Month.
Watch on iPlayer
and listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
The Champions League with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Currently 0-0 at the Allianz Arena between Bayern Munich and Celtic. We'll head back there with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin for live second half commentary very shortly. But we're going to head now to Madrid, where Manchester City face an uphill task to reach the last 16 of the Champions League. They trail Real Madrid 3-2 heading into tomorrow night's second leg at the Bernabeu. Live commentary on 5 Live Sport and BBC Sounds from 7 o'clock. Football correspondent John Murray joins us live from Madrid. And the big question, John, is who's fit enough to be in that City squad?
Yeah, well, I think more widely, if Manchester City are able to get through this, I think you would have to call it one of the finest achievements that they've been able to put in under Pep Guardiola. The news is that Erling Haaland is here in Spain. He has been able to travel, and so have Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake and Jack Grealish as well, who, if you remember, was injured early in the first leg. So he was quite vague about whether Akanji, Grealish, Ake would be involved. I don't think there's a problem with Erling Haaland, despite the scenes with his knee injury at the weekend. But we will find out tomorrow night. But also on the team news front, the news on Real Madrid is that Antonio Rudiger is fit. The expectation was that he would not be involved in the second leg, but he's fit. Carlo Ancelotti says that he's ready to start, and also Lucas Vazquez and Alaba are available as well.
John, back with you in just a second, but there's been a goal at Wrexham. Shojo Saka.
It is a big, big goal. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2. Jamie Donnelly, the Tottenham loanee, with an absolutely stunning strike. It was a clearance which went up really high into the sky, came down, and he took it on his left foot on the edge of the box, volleyed it home really low into the corner. Brilliant goal. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2.
Thank you very much for that. We'll have regular updates from that one. Remember, Wycombe Wanderers being held to a goalless draw as things stand at the moment. So that could be a really significant goal for Wrexham. If Wycombe lose, Wrexham might be able to climb into second place in the table. John Murray was joining us live from Madrid talking about that Manchester City squad. And regardless of who's in and who's out, Pep Guardiola said his side need to play without fear.
In that level and against that teams, no matter the stage, the pressure is there, but it's more than welcome. You cannot perform well without the pressure. And it's what it is, not the first time. It depends how we play, how we handle it. The moments always in this stadium, in the biggest stadiums, no matter it's here in Barcelona, Milan, and Anfield, always the moments that you have to suffer will be there. Try to reduce as less as possible.
What is it going to take to turn this around? Do you need almost everything to go right?
Yeah, you have to make an almost perfect game, obviously. The result is not good. Always we came with a more or less good result, but the result is not the perfect situation. We have to attack, we have to score goals. Play with courage. You have to be yourself. What I learned in the years, like I was a football player with a young player here, and we didn't get results. The moment we changed a bit the mentality, you have to play with incredible courage. You have to play to win the game.
That was Pep Guardiola speaking to John Murray, and alongside John for commentary tomorrow night, and alongside him tonight, former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson. Paul, Pep says City need to play the game with courage. This is the game they absolutely have to win. They've been in this situation against top opposition so many times over the previous years. Is that kind of experience something they can bring into this game? Is this almost more familiar territory for them?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I think you look at his team selection from the first leg, and I think there was quite a few of us that were very surprised when the team sheets came in. You look at the players that they signed in January, the new build, if you like, that he was bringing in January. He went back to the players that he knew and that had been there for a long time. And I think the way that they set up surprised a few people. But for 82 minutes of that game, I thought they played extremely well. Very disappointing to lose it in the way that they did. And we were talking tonight after the press conference, and we looked and we thought, we wonder how he'll approach this game tomorrow night. Whether he will actually be attacking. You look at Marmoush, you look at the goals that he's scored since he's come in. Will he go all out attack and look to score and win the game that way? Or actually will he be slightly more pragmatic in a similar way to they started the game? And we're going to stay in this game for 60, 65 minutes, 70 minutes, and then we'll get a goal at some point and rely on his attacking force to get the goal latter in the game and, staying in it. It'll be very, very interesting to see, one, his team selection and how they actually approach the game tomorrow night. There's so many subplots to this game.
I mean, he did say to us, Kelly, that he feels better about it than he did in the immediate aftermath of the first leg. He said that, as the days have gone by, and I'm sure that Saturday's performance against Newcastle will have helped, but I think the fact is that in recent away matches, they conceded 4 goals in Paris when they were 2-0 up. They let in 5 at Arsenal, and in the first leg of this, they conceded those 2 late goals to lose the match against Real Madrid. So, I think whatever is said in the build-up to this match, the fact is that fragile confidence cannot be too far away.
Andros, I think, was just coming in there. Andros, we're just not quite catching your mic. If you want, do you want to just if you repeat
Can you
your
hear me
question?
now?
Yes, can hear you now.
Yes, sorry, to go back to what Paul said in how Pep approaches it, I think it's a bit of both. I think he probably still needs the protection of John Stones in the number 6 position if his centre-halves are fit. And they caused them going forward. They caused Madrid all sorts of problems. So I wouldn't change too much going forward. Yeah, maybe bring in Marmoush if Grealish is injured or what have you. But especially for the first half, keep it safe. Keep your attacking players on the pitch, and then assess. Maybe you might need more possession. Maybe you bring on a Kovacic again to bring the game back to you. But yeah, I think a similar setup to the first leg if it's me.
Paul, John, can we hear you in Madrid? Nope, nothing from Paul and John in Madrid. Live commentary of Real Madrid against Manchester City in 5 Live Sport from 7 o'clock tomorrow. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock in that one. Andros, what would your answer be to the question that you asked, Paul? What do you think that Pep Guardiola might do in this one in terms of either just being a bit more secure in the first half of the game, or if he goes for it early?
You're asking me?
Yeah, just because we've lost Paul. We've lost Paul.
No,
and John.
exactly what I said. I think a bit of both. I think John Stones in the number 6 position, as providing that Ake and Akanji are fit, and he can afford to put John Stones there. But keep the attacking players that scored 2 goals against Real Madrid and controlled large parts of that game. Madrid had the early stages of the first half and the second half, but other than that, it was majority Man City. So I don't think it's wholesale changes in personnel and formation. I think it's sort of more of the same, and the theme that's been this season has been throwing it away at the last minute. So I think if they can avoid that, they've got a hell of a chance. Yeah, on these late goals that they've been conceded, and I think John Murray might be back with us. John, are you there?
Yes, we're here.
Oh, perfect. On that theme of City conceding last goals, it has been a problem for them this season, but they've brought in Nico Gonzalez, and there was a lot of praise for him after the game against Newcastle, and Pep Guardiola called him a sort of mini Rodri, in the style of Rodri, as opposed to, comparable with Rodri. Do you think that's a fair comparison, and could it be the difference for Manchester City from this leg to the last one?
Well, they'll certainly be hoping so. I think the question would be, is John Stones going to play? Is he going to play at right back? Or is he going to play in the role that he fulfilled very effectively, actually, for the most part of the first leg, in the midfield? And also, does Kovacic play in there? Does Gundogan play in there? Bernardo Silva could play in there. So he does have options, but returning to the wider point, Bernardo Silva was talking to us as well today, and the message from him was that they need to stay in the tie, and that's it. Andros talked about the first 20 minutes. He said, the first 20 minutes are going to be crucial, but they have to stay in the tie, and as he said, believe it's possible.
I think John Stones is the one, Kelly. We look at the team selection, you look at where he's actually going to play. So whether he plays him as a centre-half, as we know, obviously that's where his favoured position is, or maybe he plays him as that right-back who can alternate with that hybrid midfield role, or he actually plays him as a number 6 and he sits him in that holding midfield role. But the fact that Bernardo Silva did the press conference tonight, we spoke about it today travelling over here as that team selection who would play, and Bernardo Silva was maybe the one in a defensive formation. We didn't expect that he would go into that side. So actually where John Stones plays tomorrow night when the team sheet comes out will be key.
Yeah, really looking forward to that one and to see how it all pans out. Paul Robinson and John Murray will be with you tomorrow night for commentary of Real Madrid against Manchester City. Huge game in terms of Manchester City's season as they try to make it into the last 16 of the Champions League. Let's head back to Munich. It's Bayern Munich against Celtic. 2-1 in the first leg to Bayern. It's 0-0 as we head into the second half with Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. 2 teams aren't out just as yet, so we've been keeping warm by doing a little bit of dancing in the chairs for a little bit of Black Eyed Peas.
There was some good Northern Soul in before as well. To be fair, we're not going to go on about it because we know we are very fortunate to be here. And with the Allianz Arena, it's a massively big game. It's an exciting one, and Celtic are playing. But boy, it's cold. It's seriously cold here. I'm sure that -4 at the start of the game is probably balmy in comparison to what it is now. So we'll see if the football players out there can get themselves warmed up again. But it shows you there is a massive change just about to happen for Bayern Munich.
Kingsley Coman has come on.
And I think it's for Harry Kane.
It is Harry Kane who's gone off. So Harry Kane, who was a doubt ahead of the game with a facial injury, he did hit the crossbar a minute before half-time, has not reappeared.
Well, that's quite good news for Celtic. I think we can't say it for certainty because, Kieran's a good player, you know that the capability of putting Musiala a little bit further forward, and they're a good side, but let's be fair, Kane is one of the best goal scorers on this planet. Many would say the best. And him not turning up for this second half will be a bit of a lift for Celtic.
Thomas Tuchel, of course, very soon will announce his England squad. Don't think it was, you'd think it wasn't anything serious for Harry Kane, but I'm sure Vincent Kompany will clear that up in the press conference afterwards. We will, of course, give you all the reaction in the 5 Live Football Daily Pod as we are underway. Celtic haven't made any changes, so I'll run through the two teams. Celtic are actually on the attack. They're in all green. They're playing from right to left as we look. The Celtic supporters are high up over our left shoulder in this 3-tiered bowl-like arena, the Allianz Arena, a very impressive ground as well. Jota towards Hatate. Hatate looks for a shooting opportunity. Upamecano gets the ball away, is then tripped by Hatate. Upamecano has stayed down, but the referee's given a free kick. French referee Benoit Bastien. So, Schmeichel is in goal. Johnston, Trusty, Carter-Vickers and Schlupp the defence for Celtic. Engels, Hatate, McGregor in the midfield. Kuhn to the right. Jota to the left and Maeda through the middle. As for Bayern Munich now, Neuer in goal, Stanisic, Kim, Upamecano and Guerrero as the defence. Kimmich and Goretzka in the centre of midfield. You've got Musiala through the centre, and it is Coman who's gone to the left and Elise to the right, and Gnabry is also up there as well. So they're playing with a false 9 now. Bayern Munich without Harry Kane, as the supporters are filing past us in a commentary position low down. Goretzka strides through the middle. Goretzka enters the penalty area. Goretzka steadies himself. Good save by Schmeichel. Made himself big and needed to make it, and that's a big save by the Celtic goalkeeper 90 seconds into the second half as Bayern attack the end, where that entire south curve is just bouncing up and down in unison.
Yeah, you expected something to happen at some point, but that is a great chance there. Put a little bit too high there, Celtic, and because of that, the ball was played through. Schmeichel had to be big, and in the family style, he made himself hugely big, and they managed to save the moment for Celtic. But that's a warning shot.
Certainly is. It remains 0-0, 2-1 on aggregate. Wycombe Wanderers now lead Bristol Rovers 2-0 at the top of League One. Wrexham, remember, are trailing still at home to Leyton Orient by 2-1. So all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Wycombe could be opening up a 5-point gap between themselves and third place Wrexham. Atalanta have got a goal back. Atalanta 1, Bruges 3, but it is Bruges who still lead 5-2 on aggregate. As Gnabry, Stanisic. Gnabry's cross blocks. We've got supporters posing for selfies right in front of us as we look away towards our right-hand side. Still filing past with their pints of lager and their bratwurst sausages as Bayern, with every outfield player in the half away towards our right-hand side. Here is Coman coming in off the left touchline. Coman plays a flat ball in, and Johnston will get the ball clear for Celtic. But at the minute, Celtic had everybody back defending deeply. It's going to keep coming back at them.
But the joy in, the Celtic started this half well. Hatate got into a very good position, but obviously Bayern Munich feels as if they're not quite done enough yet, so they're playing at a high tempo, and it has become a good cup-tight game of football here. You expect you'll see much more of the ball in this half for Bayern, but Celtic could have chances again.
Kingsley Coman with the cross. Hatate heads it away. It's like a conveyor belt of supporters just still filing their way past us. Kimmich to Elise, taken high off the chest right corner of the area. Now Stanisic, infield to Kimmich. Now this is with Elise, cutting inside. Elise with a shot, well off target. Lady to the right's more bothered about the selfie than the game of football. She must have taken about 3 or 4.
As long as you're not too worried about the burgers and the beer that they're bringing down. It's constant. It's actually a constant line here. I think it's a big part of the culture, isn't it? They can still have a beer at the game and sort of sit and enjoy it and behave.
Celtic looking to play out from the back. Hatate's ball towards Jota. Up towards Maeda, gives him something to chase. Maeda with his pace, this human dynamo. And Upamecano is the one who holds him off, gives it back towards Neuer, and Neuer then passes it back to the central defender. The ball was almost cut out by Kuhn.
Do you know that? I'm not sure that was a great pass by Neuer. I mean, he got away with it and it looked really good, but that was far too close to the attacker. And then he tried to play across the ball across the park there and couldn't nearly got it as well. So there are mistakes in that back line of Bayern. There definitely are.
They've just been fortunate that they've got a decision going in their favour of Bayern Munich for a challenge from Johnston on Coman, because otherwise there was a chance that Celtic could have been in on that right-hand side. Brendan Rodgers was saying yesterday in the press conference here, he was saying, want to look back, leave everything out there, no regrets. Well, Celtic, the only regret that they might have is not taking one of those chances in the first half, but in terms of the actual performance, this has been a vast improvement from the first leg. McGregor tries to help it on towards Schlupp, heading clear by Goretzka. Loose ball picked up now by Elise, and Gnabry makes a run as he peels away from Carter Vickers, but Carter Vickers stands firm, heads it forward. Kuhn then running in towards the centre circle. He was then taken out by Goretzka. The referee, I don't think even saw it. He certainly hasn't indicated that he's played the advantage, as Kuhn is back to his feet and then back towards Trusty. A Celtic goal brings them level in the tie. Bayern still lead 2-1 on aggregate. Jota caught in the face by an outstretched arm from Musiala, and he is down on his haunches at the moment, but he's just trying to shrug it off, and he's now gone down on his knees. It'll be a head injury. The referee will have to stop play.
And he's right to do so. To be fair to Musiala, I think he did catch him there. He did follow through with his arm, but he was quite concerned about it. You know, he stopped and he didn't want to play on. So it's caught him in the eye. I think that's what suggests in there. Looking at Jota with his George Michael 1985 haircut, I think.
Yes,
Did you give me that?
Yeah.
Think of it.
Well, the noise being inside the stadium tonight, you're not going to hear a careless whisper, are you?
Okay. You'll beat me in that one.
Just wondered if there was a little bit of blood, or maybe it's just the cold red nose there. They're actually just applying
I think it's his eye, but he's certainly got there.
So he's getting eye drops at the moment, is Jota. So they're temporarily down to 10 men. Stanisic is coming forward as Bayern Munich are attacking from left to right as we look. And we've been playing now for 7 minutes into the second half. Extra time is still a possibility, you know. Try to think what the temperature would be if we were to go past another additional 30 minutes, bearing in mind that we're an hour ahead here in Germany.
Can I tell you something? The Celtic fans aren't feeling it. They're not feeling it. They're jumping about, they're bouncing about. Neither indeed are, you know, the ultras fans that you're getting from Bayern as well, who are actually seem to be really enjoying this game.
Well, it has been a good game. Here is Coman, Upamecano. Jota is back on the field of play. Kimmich in the centre circle. Joshua Kimmich out towards Kim. Forward ball. Gives it to Guerrero. Guerrero comes to a standstill midway through the Celtic half. And then Kingsley Coman once again. And then the ball is passed to Upamecano. Maeda goes towards him. Musiala is the central area. Gnabry looking then for Goretzka. He was further forward as well. McGregor though heads it away. Jota, little touch then by Hatate, headed back by Maeda, and then Goretzka, tall and lean in the midfield, heads it towards Kim. And Bayern Munich in that light beige, playing from left to right with Musiala with his bright orange boots. Out then to Elise, a chance to run at Schlupp. Comes on the inside, threads the ball through. Musiala in towards the penalty area, tried the back heel, didn't quite come off. And then the ball is cleared by Schlupp, closed down by Kimmich, and it goes out for a Celtic throw. 0-0, 8 minutes into the second half.
Again, the ugly stuff for you need to do. It's been brilliant from Celtic. McGregor there, he was done by Musiala, got into that position, but didn't give up. Got back into the inside right area, and what could have been an easy cutback from the byline wasn't, because McGregor refused to give up there. Super play by him.
Kingsley Coman passes the ball to Elise. Elise back towards Coman, right side of the penalty area, comes to a standstill, moves his right foot around the ball, then plays it back towards Goretzka. Maeda coming back, did ever so well, but Bayern have quickly got it back through Goretzka once again. Short ball out towards the right touchline. And notice that Monaco have come from behind in Lisbon. Benfica 1, Monaco 2. They've levelled the tie now overall, as Elise caught in possession by Schlupp. Stanisic, infield to Elise, spreads it infield. Kimmich up towards Musiala, tight defending by Carter Vickers, wins the ball, and then Kuhn plays it back. Carter Vickers towards Schmeichel. Trusty makes himself available as Schmeichel passes the ball out towards Johnston, still deep inside the Celtic half. Down the line it goes towards Engels. Johnston then gives it away. Coman passes the ball forward, and Musiala now can run at the Celtic defence. Johnston knows quickly back in position. Musiala finds Kimmich, 25 yards out from goal, lifts it, Stanisic is forward, down into the ground it goes.
Again, it was a decent piece of play, and they're going to have, good periods of play. Bayern Munich played to the left and to the right to the back post, but Celtic didn't seem completely stretched by it, and there are going to be moments that they're going to have to live dangerously, Celtic, and also at some point Brendan Rodgers is going to have to think about the changes, because you get to a point, 55, 60 minutes in, Celtic have still got to score a goal.
Yes, they do. Yep, they failed to score once in the last 15, and that was against Rangers when they lost on the 2nd of January by 3-0. Rangers very impressive that day. Jota with the back heel to Schlupp, forward ball, Hatate lays it off, McGregor gives it back towards Schlupp. They advance midway through the Bayern half. Trusting. There becomes a point though where they're just going to have to just give it one go as the Celtic supporters chant away high up in the gods here in Munich in a crowd of around 70,000. It's a slightly reduced capacity for European and international games in what is the second largest stadium in Germany, the Westfalenstadion, where certainly Celtic have progressed so much after that humbling night in Dortmund earlier on in this Champions League campaign, how they've learnt the lessons. It was a question I asked Brendan Rodgers yesterday, and certainly they have progressed. It was always going to be the barometer, judging by his second spell in the club, but here they are competing. We're almost approaching the hour mark, and they're still in this tie, as Doncaster Rovers are down to 10 men as they are leading away at Morecambe by a 0-0, one of 3 games being played in League Two. 5 live final score is available at iPlayer, BBC Sport website, and also the red button. Tomorrow night live in Madrid, but here we are in Munich, and Celtic giving it a go. Hatate curls the ball out towards Jota up against Stanisic, who actually asks for Elise to come back and help him out, and Jota has got the beating of both of them. Jota has done well, ball inside, just too far ahead of Hatate. He tries to win it back, Upamecano loses it. Was Engels fouled? The referee says get up, no foul on Engels, and Goretzka now could also lead a counter-attack here for Bayern Munich. Celtic have committed too many green shirts forward. Stanisic is the one coming forward on the right-hand side. Celtic now do have men back in numbers. Coman inside the penalty area, left-hand side. The angle is tight, sliding challenge comes in, and the ball is cleared. And it was a very good challenge as well by Johnston.
Oh, it's so dangerous though. He goes to the ground, it's inside the penalty box. If he gets that wrong, it's a clear penalty. He doesn't, he managed to get some of the ball there. And the game is really opening out now. Celtic are going to make a change there, because some players are getting very tired. I suspect certainly Maeda's getting tired up front as well, but Jota, can he last any longer? He's put a real shift in, and by the way, Jota, talk about him not defending well enough. Generally, he has worked his socks off tonight.
When do you think, I mean, I know he's going to make a change now, but when does he twist, Brendan Rodgers?
I think he has already. I think the team are doing the best they possibly can in the circumstances. They will play this way until 10 or 15 minutes to go. If it's still 0-0, then you go completely all out. You just throw everything at it. But at the moment, it would still be naive to do that.
Here is Elise, held up by Schlupp. Schlupp gets a foot into the challenge. Elise then goes into a shoulder barge challenge with Schlupp, who falls to the floor, and Elise shows his strength as he wins that duel. Kim just outside the centre circle, still 0-0 on the night. Bayern lead 2-1 in the tie. Here is Musiala. Musiala with a shot off target. It was always going wide from the edge of the area, left-footed. Schmeichel did make the dive, but you could tell he had it covered. As now the change is going to be made, and it is going to be Jota who is going to be coming on. So no real surprise. Let's get an update from Wrexham. Shojo Sako.
Well, 15 minutes to go, and it's Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2. Orient definitely good value for their lead, much the better side in the second half. Phil Parkinson needs his Wrexham subs to have an impact here. With Wickham winning 2-0 at the moment, it would open up a 5-point gap on third place Wrexham if it stays like this. Currently Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2.
The other latest scores in League One: Crawley 1, Wigan 1, Mansfield 0, Lincoln City 1, Shrewsbury and Huddersfield is goalless, and it's Stevenage 0, Burton Albion 1, although Burton Albion are actually down to 10 men. So Ida has come on, he'll go central. and it means that Maeda then drops to this near side, the left, as Jota was the one to make way.
It's a comfortable change that Celtic have made. They've got a player he's normally playing in the striker, and Maeda's comfortable playing the left-hand side as well. So they're not going to be over worried about that. And it asks a couple of different questions as well. By the way, while you're doing that, Kasper Schmeichel had another pass out which was millimetres from disaster again, but he got away with it.
On that far side is Guerrero. Musiala, that's the familiar voice of Pat Nevin, who's with us here live in Munich, inside the stadium. No substitute for being here, I can tell you. Here is Coleman coming in off that left touch line. Back then to Goretzka, to Coleman. Johnston will go to close him down on that far side. Substitute leaves it now for Goretzka. Upamecano receives the ball just outside the centre circle. Elise with his ponytail has Maeda in front of him. Stanisic is also forward. That wall of noise coming from that end away towards our right hand side as McGregor breaks up the play in the midfield and passes the ball to Trusty, across to Carter Vickers. Musiala runs towards him. Johnston then passes the ball out towards Kuhn on that far side, being trapped and penned in by Guerrero. Johnston then passes the ball forward. It was Engels who'd made that run out towards the right-hand side. Celtic keeping the ball, still looking for the goal to potentially force extra time. 61 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Celtic competing well against Bayern Munich, who would love to be back here when the final is being played on May the 31st. But as the ball is chipped forward towards Ida won't get there. One bounce and it's through towards Neuer.
Yeah, just interesting to see Schlupp, who's rarely going forward, and he does that underlapping. You know, he's very, very good at it, but he hasn't done it in this game so far. He's trying to do it now. He's asking the question now. It means leaving Elise, but that's the question you're asking before. When does he start taking real chances? And bit by bit, Celtic are beginning to do that now.
It remains 0-0. Bayern Munich have failed to score just once in 34 home games in the Champions League. That was last November, 0-0 against Copenhagen in the group stages. And Lise's got an opportunity here. He enters the penalty area and he shoots, and it was straight at Schmeichel off his right boot.
Again, well done, Ida, because if you're going to get done, let him do you on the outside. It makes it a difficult angle. You still got to beat Kasper Schmeichel from there. Schmeichel got all his angles right. Well done, Schmeichel.
Hatate lying on the floor, manages to hook it back to Trusty. Ball chipped out by Schmeichel to Schlupp, off the chest, takes it away neatly. Schlupp has done well at left back. You said earlier on, Pat, that he'd got those calls right, Brendan Rodgers. I think he's been vindicated with the two decisions that he's made. As Maeda will give chase, he might even get to that ball. Maeda does, but the pass then to Oli, it does reach Kuhn. This is it, and Celtic are level. Celtic have levelled the tie through Nicholas Kuhn. A monumental goal here in Munich. He was composed. He finds the bottom left-hand corner. Bayern 0, Celtic 1. But it's 2-2 on the night, and what scenes of delirium high up in the goal to way towards our left. Oh my word!
Just wow, absolute wow, and it's technically what he would have wanted. Maeda chasing down again. He was second favourite every time. Bad mistake. I think it might have been Kim coming in there, but Kuhn still has to keep calm. He's got a 1-1 versus Neuer. We chatted about this before the game against Neuer. It's a different thing. He's got that aura. Forget that. He just passes it by and it's just unbelievably managed to do it.
Oh my word. Celtic are leading here in Munich, but Maeda was the one, wasn't he? I mean, he's the catalyst for everything. He will chase so many lost causes. He looked like he was second best. He nudged it, did enough to get it towards Kuhn. And Celtic lead as they make a double change. Guerrero is off, Gnabry is off, Sane and Alphonso Davies are on.
Well, they're going to change that left-hand side completely there. Alphonso Davies will come on ostensibly as a left back, but he will be hammering forward as well. That is woken them up now. There were concerns, there were tensions beforehand. Let's see how Bayern Munich react to this. Celtic have, again, nothing to lose. They've got themselves into this game. They've created chances throughout, and they have played with such verve, such belief, and such bravery, and that's the thing that Brendan Rodgers was wanting, and he's got it in spades here.
Well, all of a sudden now we are 25 minutes away from extra time. Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 1. Bayern have never lost at home against the Scottish side. They're actually unbeaten in their last 14 against Scottish teams. Their last defeat, a UEFA Cup tie when Ian Ferguson scored for Hearts in a quarter-final tie at Tynecastle. Bayern turned it around in the second leg. But here, Celtic are leading.
What a change it made, and an era coming on as well. You know, his liveliness up front, chasing players down. But you see that central defence area. I talked about it last week, I talked about it before the game. Not convinced with the two big centre-backs and their ability to be nimble. You know, they're big, they're strong, they're quick, they've got lots of things in their favour. But classy footballers and nimble in the turn, no, that's not them. And they've paid for it so far.
He never made an impact during his Bayern career. He has made an impact, though, now here in Munich as Nicholas Kuhn, because Celtic are 1-0 up. They've played ever so well. Regardless what happens from here on in, Brendan Rodgers will be a proud manager tonight with these Celtic players. 1-0 on the night, but they have levelled the tie. Here is Kuhn, the goal scorer, running back. The ball played back, and some of the Bayern supporters just look a little bit dumbfounded around us.
I think they are. I mean, obviously, to our right there, the ultras there, they'll be jumping and bouncing. That curve never stops. Doesn't matter what goes on there. But you look around the rest of the stadium, which is the vast majority of it, they're stunned. They're beginning to realise, actually, you know, okay, maybe a little bit more of the possession, but not more of the chances. However, here they come again.
Elise to Sane. Maeda runs back at him. Sane enters the penalty area, comes out of the box, plays it towards Kimmich. Kimmich then looks to Coman, controls it left-footed, left-hand side of the penalty area. Coman strokes it back. This is Musiala. Musiala runs in field. Celtic, though, defending in numbers. Ball played back out towards Kingsley Coman once again. He'll try again on that left-hand side. Comes out of the box and shoots! And Schmeichel makes the save. It was a powerful right-footed shot too.
Powerful right-footed shot. But a straight arm. What he has to make sure he does is catch it. Don't let anything come off you. And that's been 3 or 4 chances he's had where it's smashed right arm. Nothing has come off him at all. And maybe not a great surprise as I think that maybe Kuhn who's actually down there. Is it a little bit of cramp, or has he done something to his ankle? The way he's hopping along there, I think maybe just twisted his ankle a little bit. So he's got himself up again. The Celtic physio is on the pitch, but Kuhn's basically said no, and then yes, come on please, because he doesn't seem able to carry on at this moment in time, Kuhn.
So the 25-year-old German, former German under-21 international, is being booed here in Munich. Not too sure he's able to continue. Doesn't look very good.
They bring Yang on now. I think they will do. He played very, very well against Dundee United there the weekend. But what a moment for him there.
Oh.
I mean, he had to be so quick. He had to be so calm. You know, and you work so hard for these little moments. And he just got it, and he felt his left foot. And he was the calmest player in here. Absolutely magnificent to finish it off. And here's the painful bit for the Celtic supporters. There's half the job done. Just half the job.
Shrewsbury 0, Huddersfield 1, Mansfield Town 0, Lincoln City 2, our latest scores in League One. BBC Radio 5 Live. What was it that Pep Guardiola said ahead of that game against Real Madrid, that he gives Manchester City a 1% chance? And then you're thinking, well, what would you give Celtic here at Bayern Munich? Just goes to show, anything is possible. Yeah. All the statistics, you would have been mad to have suggested that Celtic would win here tonight coming into the game.
Absolutely, or even be ahead coming on to 70 minutes. You can be cashing in that one generally. But yeah, but football's like that, and maybe it's just that last 20 minutes Celtic had against Bayern at Celtic Park. The belief they got from that is if they think, they're not gods. They're good players, they're not gods. We can still take them on a little bit, and a real belief in this team tonight, but there's still a long, long way to go.
Yes, there is. Goretzka cleared away by Trusty at the edge of the Celtic penalty area, but Celtic 20 minutes away from extra time. Needed to score the 1 goal. Won't need to score again, even in a penalty shootout. Go the whole distance. They might look for a second though here. Engels with the cross. Maeda might get on the end of it. Maeda with a header straight at Neuer. He was stooping inside the penalty area. He did well just to get on the end of it.
That's so Maeda there. He's run so far at such pace, managed to beat the man who's marking him, who has now been left 30 yards behind him. And just looking at Stanisic, who's playing against Maeda just now, I have a suspicion if he could get substituted now, he'd get off this park. He's hating it against Maeda. But the half chance he had there, bounced in front of him, diving header, took it first time, just couldn't get enough power to beat Neuer there. But another decent chance for Celtic.
Here we are in the Allianz Arena. Bayern 0, Celtic 1. It is 2-2 on aggregate as Elise tries to roll away from McGregor. McGregor holds on to Elise and gives away a free kick. The French referee is quick to point, and there with his ultra blue referee's jersey and says this is where I want it to be taken from, and wants Maeda to walk away as Celtic form a line of green shirts on the edge of their penalty area. The Bayern supporters still creating a real din from behind that goal away towards our right hand side. Kimmich waits to take the free kick, goes to take it, stops, then does play it in, flat ball, cleared though by Ida, the substitute. Out it goes for a throw as Vincent Kompany, with his short padded black puffer coat and his trademark baseball cap, patrols the technical area here in the Allianz Arena. Sane now comes in off the right touchline. Sane passes the ball towards the far post. Nobody was there, nobody made a move, and it goes all the way through and out for a goal kick. There has been a sending off at Wrexham. Shojo Saka.
3 minutes to go. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2, but all down to 10 men. Captain Darren Pratley bringing down Sam Smith just outside the box. A free kick to come. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2.
And remember, in that top of the table in League One, Wycombe Wanderers are leading Bristol Rovers, who now themselves, Bristol Rovers, are down to 10 men. Pat.
Just looking at the ball being played up front there, and Ida, when he came on at first, he was holding the ball up quite well. Shoved off it a couple of times now. Can't do that. He has to make an impression, he has to hold up, he has to give his teammates a little bit of respite now and again. Maeda was doing it constantly when he was playing on point up front, so maybe that one little thing that Ida needs to add to his game just now. However, if you give him a chance, he's possibly, arguably, the most natural scorer on that pitch just now.
Here is Elise midway through the Bayern half, Upamecano. A lot of urgency from Bayern Munich. Archie Reintut, who was with us, a German journalist ahead of the game, was saying that they didn't want to be in this situation. Bayern Munich playing in a playoff that have hoped to finish in the top 8. They certainly wouldn't want to be taken to extra time. And those that were dismissive of Celtic's chances in the German media might be eating their words here, as Celtic, with 17 minutes remaining, are on the back foot as Sane cuts forward, passes the ball towards Musiala. Elise goes down under a challenge from Schlupp. The referee has a look at it and says no. Strong refereeing. Kimmich plays the ball in. Downward header, just wide. It was Goretzka who threw himself at it about 7 yards out and puts his header wide of the left-hand post as we look.
Again, first of all, well done referee, didn't panic into giving a penalty kick there. It wasn't a penalty kick, absolutely no chance at all. But Goretzka had a chance for a diving header at the back post. Yeah, it's a good chance. Is it any better a chance than Maeda had 5 minutes ago? Arguably not. So it's going both sides. But you mentioned Vincent Kompany a few moments ago. I've rarely seen him so upset, so worried, so concerned about it.
Mansfield Town 0, Lincoln City 3 is the latest score in League One. Sometimes you do just wonder, don't you, whether it's all aligned.
To be honest, even to get this far, it's been all aligned for Celtic to do this well. And again, it's not a complete fluke. They've deserved something out of this game because they've created chances, because they've quite often left 2 men up front. Whether it's Maeda, whether it's Hatate, and it's Ida's up just now. They really have been stunningly brave. It's hard to do that away from home in European football. But in Bayern, in the Allianz Arena,
Sane, Schlupp cuts it off, cuts back, Trusty helps him out, gets it away only as far as Kimmich. They've been good with the ball of Celtic, they've been good without the ball. as Yang goes across towards that far side, where Coman just plays the ball inside, and then it will be an opportunity here for Kimmich. Coman now on that far side, the left corner of the area, goes away from Yang, delivers the cross, and it drifts away. And again, you can hear the groans, and we have 15 minutes remaining of Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 1, and you're listening to 5 Live.
And it's gripping stuff here. Do you know how good this game is? I've forgotten about the -7, 8, 9 degrees it is just now. It's been that good, it's been that exciting. It's now that tense in these closing moments of the game.
Coman, there's no width on the left at the moment for Bayern. Musiala, though, is the left corner of the area. Musiala to the edge of the area. His shot is blocked. It balloons to the edge of the box. It's teed up towards Kimmich. Down into the ground. Right side of the penalty area. Sane is there. Celtic still have a slender lead. Stanisic to Kimmich. Playing in front of Celtic at the moment. Upamecano. Upamecano will go square to Kimmich once again. Passes the ball towards Stanisic. Sane able to turn. Harry Kane's off the field of play. Musiala into the area, links up with Sane. Sane enters the box. Sane with a shot, and Sane puts it wide. The chances are not going in. Bayern 0, Celtic 1.
But that was brilliant. The play there by Sane. Straight through. It's a 1-2, straight through the centre of the defence. And I just thought it was going to curl into the corner. He deserves slightly better than that. And it's, again, Schmeichel was static. There's nothing he could have possibly have done there. They're turning up the heat. But on top of everything else, there's no Harry Kane. And that's something to hold on to for Celtic, because you keep on creating this many chances, and Harry Kane would have been on the field, you wouldn't feel that much comfort or confidence. There is a chance here still for Celtic.
They've won all 4 of their home games in the Champions League this season. They basically didn't qualify for the league phase because they're in different form away from home. But here they've scored 14 goals, and they've only conceded the 3 before today. But Sane running forward now for Bayern. Stanisic powering his way on the overlap. Sane passes the ball in field. Musiala fouled by Engels. Direct free kick. Engels knew what he was doing. Stops Elise outside the D of the penalty area, and this is certainly within shooting distance.
It's absolutely perfect. It's far enough out to get it over and up and back down again, and it's there's a lot of players fancy the area. Elise was straight onto it there. You can see he's desperate to take that. And I mean, any player worth his salt, you're talking 22 yards out, just at a slight angle, nailed on for a left footer there. Celtic are going to have to be brave. They're going to have to stand tall. Schmeichel may have to do some special work here.
There is an air of expectancy from that noisy end behind the goal away towards our right. So we've got Sane and Elise who are standing over the free kick. Celtic are getting every green shirt inside their penalty area. We've got 4 in the wall. Maeda is not lying down, he's on one knee with an outstretched leg behind that 4-man wall. Kimmich is also a likely taker now as well. Sane is going to move away. Bayern are trailing at home to Celtic, but they have a free kick just outside the D. It's Elise, blocked, comes out towards Kimmich, drives it in. What a save by Schmeichel. Took a deflection on its way through. He threw himself away towards his right with a two-handed save. Bayern are still threatening. Kimmich chips the ball forward, cleared away by Carter Vickers. Coman on the left-hand side for Bayern Munich. Alphonso Davies with a cutback, blocked. Hatate, and it will be cleared away by Carter Vickers. Ahead of the game, Pat, we did a video for 5 Live social media, and you said there are many things that have to go in Celtic's favour. If this, if that. One of them was Schmeichel having a good game. He's having a super game.
He's having a brilliant game, and that save there, it's one of those ones, it's good for the cameras, but it's also a good save as well. The ball comes off, you know, it's going to come through a bunch of players as well when it comes to him, but it moves quickly to his right hand side and just doesn't pat it out again. He pits it wide there, and it's actually a really, really good save. I suspect it's not the last one he's going to have to make, because clearly Bayern, they have turned up the gas a little bit now. They're playing much, much quicker, but it also means they're taking a few chances now. Celtic on the break look very dangerous. Maeda has lost none of his pace going forward, and we know Uida's got pace as well, so I think there's going to be chances in these last 10 minutes whether we do or don't go to extra time.
Well, we are about 10 minutes away from going into extra time, because that is how much normal time remains, with Celtic leading by a goal to nil as Hatate keeps his balance after being clipped. The referee plays the advantage. Just to tell you how good that save was from Schmeichel. If you played cricket back in the day and you had the cradle, and your slip catching practice, you'd throw the ball at the cradle and it could rear off at any angle. That deflection from Kimmich took the ball a little bit higher. It elevated the goal-bound shot, but Schmeichel was equal to it. 64% possession have Bayern Munich, but Celtic are leading.
Okay. I think that's fine. 64% is, it's not utter domination. It's kind of just round about where you expect a home team to get. 60-40-ish. But you're talking Bayern Munich here. You're talking about a game that they need to win. I think Celtic can be quite pleased with getting 36% throughout the entirety of this game, and also, more importantly, getting A, the goal, the most important thing, but B, the number of chances that Celtic have created through the game as well.
It's finished in the Championship. Preston North End 1, Millwall 1. But we could be witnessing one of the all-time great results for Celtic Football Club in Europe, as they lead Bayern Munich by a goal to nil. And we have 9 minutes remaining now of normal time. Back then to Schmeichel.
You were talking beforehand about, written in the stars, everything aligning. If you look at it from a Bayern point of view, Muller's not come off the bench yet, has he?
No.
And what a story that would be if he was the man to save them again. By the way, Vincent Kompany should wear different studs. It's just had a great fall there.
Here is Sane, came onto the pitch to retrieve the ball and took a little bit of a tumble, did Vincent Kompany in his white pumps. That might have left a little stain on them, as we now have almost 8 minutes remaining, and Celtic still have a slender lead. I'll give you all the latest scores in a moment once they're all in, and the full-time results rather, in the lower leagues back in England on this icy night in Munich. But Celtic have a slender lead, and we could be having another 30 minutes here on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Upamecano runs with the ball almost midway through the Celtic half. Sane, still that quite a high line. That Celtic back line is midway through that Celtic half. Here is Kimmich now taking over. Ball is curled out towards Stanisic, getting forward on this near side, the right. Schlupp goes towards him, delivers the cross, comes off a leg of Carter Vickers, and it goes behind for a corner kick to Bayern Munich with under 8 minutes remaining.
Keep on getting there, Carter Vickers and certainly Trusty as well. I think they've both had fabulous games tonight. They have been put under pressure, but they've came from generally wide areas, and they've been shots from distance most of the time that have kind of caused a little bit of trouble to Kasper Schmeichel. But those two centre-backs so far, I think they've been absolutely magnificent.
Bayern Munich trailing at home, have a corner kick on that far side, the left, as they play from left to right. Kimmich waits to deliver it. The French referee, Monsieur Bastien, is just having a word, saying, I'm going to be keeping an eye on these, everybody. There's a bit of push. Again, it's Trusty and Kim getting involved in a little bit of a tangle. The referee stands his ground. I love to see that from a referee, where he says to the player, no, you come here, and he makes him walk. He shows his authority. And he's giving him a real talking to as well, as those red and white flags, those huge flags, continue to sway from side to side behind that goal, as we wait for the corner kick to come in towards our right. Celtic still lead by a goal to nil. Still the players are jostling, the referee watching intently. In it comes now. It reaches Coman, but Johnston went to ground and cleared the ball out of the penalty area. Coman runs back, Sane goes square. Alphonso Davies will shoot, headed away well by Adam Eder. That was travelling off the left boot of the Canadian international. Picked up on that far side. Kimmich with the cross in towards the penalty area, and caught by Schmeichel. And then he clears the ball out towards Maeda. Maeda, still full of running, will give chase. Full time at Wrexham, Shojo Saka.
Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2. Jamie Donnelly with a brilliant volley settles it in Orient's favour. They've lost just once in 15 and stay in the playoffs. Wrexham's defeat means they've just taken 1 point in their last 3 home games. Very damaging for automatic promotion prospects. Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2, full time.
Wycombe Wanderers are still leading Bristol Rovers 2-0, but they will be opening up a 5-point gap between themselves and Wrexham now for that second automatic promotion spot in League One. I'll run through the results in a moment when we get a chance, but we have 5 minutes of normal time remaining. We are 5 minutes away from finding out how much stoppage time between going to extra time here on BBC Radio 5 Live on the first of 2 dramatic European nights. Tomorrow night live in Madrid. Might take some beating for this one here in Munich.
Well, for the tension anyway. Certainly the last 5, maybe 10 minutes or so, Celtic have been under a lot of pressure, haven't they? I mean, they're really struggling to get out of their own half. You would expect that to some degree, but they're lifting it and lifting it and lifting it Bayern just now.
Goretzka can't get there. McGregor breaks it up. Yang picks the ball up now midway through the half, has to hang on to it. Dispossessed by Musiala. Bayern are coming on strong for these closing stages. Stanisic runs forward, enters the penalty area, cleared away by Trusty. Wickham have beaten Bristol Rovers 2-0. The other results: Crawley 1, Wigan 1, Mansfield 0, Lincoln 3, Shrewsbury 0, Huddersfield Town 1, Stevenage 0, Burton Albion 1, and Wrexham 1, Leyton Orient 2, as we heard from Shojo. Coleman looks to go on the outside of Johnston. Johnston matches him stride for stride and sees it out for a corner kick.
He does. Just looking to sit in front of us there. Manuel Neuer looks as if he wanted to come up for this corner kick. Well, it's not that extreme yet, Manuel. Just one negative about Celtic, I would say just now. They can push back, understand that. But either since he's come on, he really isn't putting the same level of effort in as all the rest of the team. And I know it's not absolutely style. You've got to bust a gut in a night like this. You've got to hold the ball up. You've got to give everything for the team.
Kimmich with a corner on the left-hand side. It's deep towards the far post, off the head of Hatate behind front of the corner. Notts County 1, Colchester 1, a result at Meadow Lane. Fleetwood 0, AFC Wimbledon 0, Morecambe 0, Doncaster Rovers 1. Doncaster go third. They're now a point behind Wimbledon towards the top of the League 2. So Walsall are clear, Wimbledon second, Doncaster third, Notts County remain fourth after those results. And we've brought you all the scorelines from the Football League here on 5 Live tonight. This is the Champions League. It's a playoff, and we have 3 minutes remaining. Kimmich with a corner kick, right-hand side, header from Stanisic, loops over the crossbar, onto the roof of the net. Safety for Celtic, they have a goal kick.
And they needed to breathe, they needed a moment. That was constant pressure there for quite some time. But it's all about that concentration in the back line. Celtic did it. There have been some great last-ditch tackles. But there's going to be, you accept there's going to be in a game like this. But every one of the players, I mean, you could go through each one of them. Johnson in the last 10 minutes or so, some of the tackles he's had. And they're against, I mean, one more is up against Coleman. He's been up against Sane. He's been up against Musiala and Elise at various points of time. And he's stood firm against every one of them, one after another. A little chance for Celtic to break down the right.
Celtic then forward. Engels with the cross, needed a better delivery from that right-hand side, and with all the urgency in the world, Neuer waits to take this goal kick. We have 2.5 minutes remaining. Earlier, Feyenoord knocked out Milan in the Champions League. Bruges are going to knock out Atalanta. As Celtic go hunting for the ball against Kimmich, back towards Neuer. Benfica 3, Monaco 3. Benfica are leading 4-3 on aggregate. Benfica could be potential opponents for Liverpool. Bruges could be potential opponents for Aston Villa. The draw is on Friday for the last 16. Commentary tomorrow from Madrid at the Bernabeu. All the build-up from 7, commentary at 8. But with 2 minutes remaining here, Bayern Munich could be taken to extra time by Celtic and Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, and when you look at the bench there, you're almost thinking, like, is everyone going to last in that Celtic team? They're having to do a lot of hard work now. In the ugly yards they're having to do just now, because they're not getting a lot of the ball. They're trying to chase high up the pitch when they possibly can. As I'm speaking to you now, Carter Vickers is almost closed down the centre half. What is he doing there? But it just shows you the willingness to give every single ounce of effort from just about every single player in green out there. But what have they got to go to in the bench? That's maybe the question mark at Celtic. And I'm looking at the bench of Bayern Munich. They've still got one or two more cards to play.
Here is Kimmich to Kim, out towards that far side. Alphonso Davies leaves it for Coleman. Coleman over the halfway line to Kim. They're not really panicking at this stage. They're still taking it steady across the back. Stanisic down towards Sane. Maeda, though, will come across. Bayern will get a throw on this near side there right. And we are inside the last 60 seconds of normal time of Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 1.
So it's really quite controlled for Celtic, isn't it? You know, there's been moments they've had to dive in, but you know, they've not looked totally and utterly panicked at any point in time. They have had a game plan, and because they know the game plan's worked, and it's worked with bells on it so far, they've kept to it all the way to the end here.
So they brought on Coleman, Sane and Davies. They would get an additional substitute as well to be utilised in extra time if necessary. Bayern Munich, as Pat had earlier mentioned, Thomas Müller. 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Alphonso Davies can't make the run in towards the penalty area, and then Yang then gives it away, caught in possession by Kimmich. But they have spent a lot of this. Kimmich's going to shoot from distance. He does shoot. I think might have been a potentially awkward one for Schmeichel, because it took a deflection its way through, which just slowed the ball down a fraction.
Yeah, but you're all right with that. Your 90 minutes have gone. They've got good possession. He's 30 yards out now. Far be it from me to give Kimmich, who's a wonderful player, any stick, but I think they could have done a bit better than that. That's let Celtic off the hook there a wee bit easily.
4 minutes of added on time. Maeda heads it on. Upamecano clips it, gives it straight to Yang. His header up towards Ida. Ida barged off the ball by Kim, looking for a free kick. Referee again stands firm and says no. Neuer has the ball at his feet inside his penalty area.
Do you know what? Kim and Upamecano, look, they're very strong, aren't they? I tell you what, see, if you put them under pressure, they will give you the ball back. They absolutely will give you the ball back. The problem is Celtic at the moment are not able to ask that question.
Kimmich, crossfield ball towards Sane. Sane leaps in the air, goes past him, accelerates and does well to keep it in play down by the right corner flag. Edge of the area, Musiala lets it run through towards Kimmich. Kimmich passes the ball back towards the right of the box. Sane then for Elise. Elise curls it in, headed away by Trusty. Upamecano's header goes to the side. Elise helps it on its way towards Stanisic. His cross comes in towards the penalty area. Still Bayern Munich have it, but still they play in front of Celtic with 2 minutes remaining of added on time. Here is Elise, gives it short. Kimmich tries to get away from Hatate. Celtic's players have worked so hard, chasing everything. They've not stopped all night. Coleman now on that far side, the left. Looks up, sends over the cross, right down the throat of Schmeichel, gathers it in, dives forward in his pink goalkeeping outfit.
Do you know, often you say in games like this, and you look at players, you think, I can see the tiredness, I can see the gaps, I can see the Celtic players really wilting just now because they've been under so much pressure. I have to say, it's not quite that. Yeah, there's a tiredness there. Do they look out on their feet? No, they do not look out on their feet at all. They look as if they can keep on fighting and keep on battling. However, if the sucker punch comes in, suddenly they could be out on their feet.
Maeda's gone down off the ball there. He's been helped to his feet by Upamecano. VAR will have a look at that naturally. Elise meanwhile runs forward. Ball cut out by Schlupp. Stanisic gives it to Goretzka. Coleman inside the penalty area. Coleman shot, an excellent block coming in by Johnston. Celtic have given it absolutely everything. They've carried out their manager's instructions and wishes to a T. In comes the cross from that far side, the left. The ball then is with Elise, edge of the area. Sane enters the box. Sane, the angle is tight. By my watch now, we're inside the last 60 seconds. As the cross is floated forward. Great save by Schmeichel, but the ball is bundled over the line. Oh, that is heartbreak. Alphonso Davies, with about 40 seconds remaining, smuggles the ball over the goal line. Bayern Munich won, Celtic won. The Celtic players are distraught. There will be no extra time. Celtic are going out, and Bayern Munich, right at the death, have got an equaliser on the night, and they lead 3-2 on aggregate.
Well, that's utterly and completely heartbreaking. Yeah, they kept on going there. Sane did very well holding the ball up. Celtic were well organised at the end there. The ball is played in there, but it is flicked on. Schmeichel makes a brilliant save on the ground. Amazing reflexes there. It goes out and Celtic try and clear the ball away. And in the act of clearing it away, it was Carter Vickers. Davis has come in behind him. It's hit Davis and it's crawled over the line. Oh, that's torture. For the work that Celtic have put in, that is horrendous. for them to deal with. They were so proud of themselves how they worked, but they have no time whatsoever to get back. No time at all.
I know we've got the boxing from Saudi Arabia this Saturday live on BBC Radio 5 Live, but that is the equivalent of being knocked to the canvas with no time to respond for Celtic. What a cruel finish as Musiala comes off for Thomas Müller, and Alphonso Davies, after Schmeichel had made an incredible save. In fact, they're checking for a potential offside leading up to the goal.
Not holding out a lot of hope.
No, in fact the players restarted, but there was a VAR check. But you have to really feel for Celtic. That is heartbreaking. And there indeed is the final whistle. Almost the last kick of the game. Celtic's players have been magnificent, but it counts for nothing, because Bayern, with a body blow of a goal right at the end, 1-1 on the night, Bayern Munich go through 3-2 on aggregate.
They do go through, and if you look at the vast majority of the play in the second half particularly, they built up the pressure and built up the pressure and built it up. Celtic was still at times a little bit dangerous on the break, but you just hope for Celtic's sake with, you know, the effort they put in and the chances they did create when they did have those little breaks. They really deserve to get to extra time. They deserve that opportunity, deserve that chance, and for their bravery as well, they deserve that chance. And reality, as the game went on, they were getting more and more tired, and Bayern were creating more and more chances. But wow, they can be proud of themselves tonight, can't they? Every Celtic player can be proud of himself, and the man just, certainly Brendan Rodgers can't be too, because he didn't set out to defend. He set out to try and stand toe-to-toe. And you're talking about the boxing there. Yeah, they did stand toe-to-toe. But that sucker punch with 30 seconds to go, knockout.
So harsh on Celtic, who played so well. But Alphonso Davies with the goal that will send Bayern through to the last 16. And they will meet either Bayer Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid. But Brendan Rodgers and his players can look back. Yes, there'll be the disappointment, but there will also be a real feeling of pride as to the way that they have performed here in Munich in the cold. But it is finished. Bayern Munich won, Celtic won. That goal in the 95th minute of added on time, and Bayern Munich go through 3-2 on aggregate. Kelly.
Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin at the Allianz Arena for us this evening, and that feeling of pride that you and Deno have talked about, Pat, will come later, but there are few worse feelings in football than glorious defeat.
Hate it. You absolutely hate it. You know, it's all that plucky loser stuff. You just want to say get stuffed. That's how you feel. In the moment, that's how you feel. But when they walk away from us, the Celtic players, as we're talking just now, they're walking over towards their fans. And I have to say, the fans up there have made one hell of a noise all the way through, and they're up there singing just now. And they're very, very proud of their players as well. So they should be, and the Celtic players have stayed on there. And when it calms down in a little while, they realise they've had a very good European camp. We started out horrifyingly, but has ended up thinking, yeah, we walk away with pride, we've learned a lot. Celtic look a better team than they did at the start of this competition. They look as if they've got a league sewn up as well. But they can go on from this. And the expectation, I would think, with Brendan Rodgers is he builds this team. He's going to add a little bit more to it. They need a little bit more strength and depth when you come to moments like this, when he's making the changes and there's tiredness on the field. And Bayern Munich are making changes and they're bringing world-class players like Koeman and Davis. I mean, Alphonso Davies is a phenomenal player. So Brendan's done well. They've done some money out of this. They've prided themselves on their country as well, but also they will look forward to the next competition, which I think they will walk out just as brave for every single game as they did for this one tonight.
We'll be able to reflect on this a lot more between now and 10:30, and we'll be able to look at Bayern Munich and what lies ahead for them. But for Celtic, in terms of this performance this evening, particularly given how they performed against Bayern in the first half of the first leg at Celtic Park, just talk about how they approached this and what Brendan Rodgers got right in terms of the way he set up the team.
Right, well, if you're going to be really horrible, you could say Well, they weren't brave enough in that first 60 minutes against Bayern Munich. They were outplayed, they couldn't get on the ball. The players weren't brave enough to play it, as much as they normally do in every single game. I think Bayern were fantastic in that first half, and they really asked every question. And remember, when Celtic could have been 2 or 3 or 4-0 down at that point, and they went 2-0 down. You have to remember over this time, Celtic were 2-0 down and they came back and managed to get to 2-2. So, they really worked hard. They did everything right. So what did they do different this time? Well, all the technical stuff. They didn't sit back with a low block. They pushed up. They had a pretty high line. It's not on the halfway line, but they had a higher line. They put Maeda up front. So he goes and starts, well, you could call it the press, but it's not even a press. He just goes and chases everybody on his own sometimes, and it can lead to mayhem, as it did for Celtic's goal that couldn't go up. So little things like that, and then saying to the players like Hatate, just get the ball. You didn't get on the ball anywhere near enough in that midfield in the first game for the first part of it. Believe in yourself, you're a player. And that's one of the best things that any player can hear. See if you walk out, and Andros I'm sure will tell you as well, see if a manager just sets you out and says, by the way, we're just going to defend, we're going to hang on. Do you know what? You're probably going to get beat. See if he says, I think you're good enough. Have a go at them, have a dig at them, I believe in you. You just grow. It's a brilliant, brilliant feeling. And I just get a feeling Brendan said that within reason, do that, go for it. And it was technical, the tactics were good. It was a 4-4-2 in periods of time. But on top of that, it had to be more than that. And the thing more than that was they believed that they were good enough. And that's because the manager told them and they believed him.
Andros Townsend is with us, as you said. Pat, Andros, what did you think?
Yeah, I think exactly what Pat said. If Brendan had set them up defensive, they would have lost. But the fact that they had moments on the counter-attack, and there's an attacking player, I've been in those situations where you've got to do a selfless job. But if you have moments on the counter-attack, it makes all the hard work worth it. And towards the back end of the first half and early second half, yes, they were suffering, but they had moments on the counter. Should have scored 2, 3, 4 goals in that first half, but to score and then to concede in the last moment is just heartbreaking. And yes, in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, they can reflect on an amazing Champions League campaign. But there's no doubt in that dressing room there'll be players who believe they should have been in the next round of the competition, and there's no bigger picture at the moment that can console those players in that dressing room.
Andros, Pat and Deno are with us through till 10:30. We'll also be joined by Statman Dave to reflect on that late exit for Celtic from the Champions League this season. It's 1-1 on the night, 3-2 to Bayern Munich on aggregate, and they progress to the last 16 of the Champions League. Reflection on all of that to come.